The more greed, the poorer life becomes. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of life's most profound paradoxes. The more we want, the less we seem to have. The more we chase, the emptier we feel. This ancient wisdom tells us that excessive greed doesn't make us richer. It makes our lives poorer in every meaningful way. I want you to think about something for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly satisfied? Not just happy for a few minutes after buying something new, but genuinely content with what you had. If you're like most people, that moment might be harder to remember than you'd like to admit. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need more. More money, more possessions, more experiences, more followers, more everything. Social media feeds us a constant stream of what others have that we don't. Advertisements whisper in our ears that happiness is just one purchase away. Our culture has made wanting into a virtue and contentment into complacency. But what if I told you that this endless pursuit of more is actually stealing your life away? What if the very thing you think will make you happy is the exact thing keeping you miserable? Today we're going to explore why greed impoverishes the soul, and how learning to want less can make your life infinitely richer. Let me start with a story that illustrates this perfectly. There was once a fisherman who spent his mornings catching just enough fish to feed his family and sell a few at the market. Every afternoon, he would take a nap, play with his children, and spend evenings with his wife and friends, sharing stories and laughter. One day, a wealthy businessman noticed the fisherman and approached him. "Why don't you stay out longer and catch more fish?" he asked. The fisherman replied, "Why would I do that?" The businessman explained, "You could sell more fish, make more money, buy a bigger boat, hire workers, and eventually own a whole fleet of boats. You could become rich." The fisherman thought about this and asked, "And then what?" The businessman's eyes lit up. "Then you could retire and spend your days relaxing, playing with your children, and enjoying time with your family and friends." The fisherman smiled gently and said, "But sir, isn't that exactly what I'm doing right now?" This story captures something essential about human nature. We often sacrifice the very things we're working to achieve. We give up peace to chase wealth that we hope will give us peace. We sacrifice relationships to build careers that we hope will impress people in our relationships. We trade our present happiness for a future happiness that always seems to remain just out of reach. The Buddhist concept of tanha, or thirst, describes this perfectly. It's not just wanting things. It's the endless, insatiable craving that can never be satisfied because it grows with each feeding. The more you feed your greed, the hungrier it becomes. It's like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. Think about the wealthiest people you know or have heard about. Are they the most content? Often, they're some of the most anxious, stressed, and paranoid people you'll meet. Why? Because when you have a lot, you spend enormous energy protecting what you have and worrying about losing it. Every possession becomes a chain, every asset becomes a responsibility, every gain becomes something that could be taken away. This is what the ancient philosophers called the hedonic treadmill. We think that getting what we want will make us happy. And it does, but only temporarily. Soon, we adapt to our new circumstances and return to our baseline level of happiness. But instead of recognizing this pattern, we assume we just didn't get enough. So we chase more, and the cycle continues. Consider how this plays out in modern life. You work overtime for months to afford that dream car. You finally buy it, and for a few weeks, you feel incredible. But then the novelty wears off. The car becomes just transportation again. Meanwhile, those months of overtime cost you sleep, health, relationships, and peace of mind. You traded lasting wealth for temporary pleasure. Or think about social media. The more followers you want, the more time you spend crafting the perfect image instead of living an authentic life. The more likes you chase, the more your self-worth becomes dependent on external validation. You become poorer in confidence, authenticity, and real relationships while pursuing digital approval. The poverty that greed creates isn't just material, though it often leads to material problems too. People go into debt chasing lifestyle upgrades they can't afford. They work jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. But the deeper poverty is spiritual and emotional. Greed makes us poor in time. Instead of savoring moments, we're always thinking about the next acquisition. We scroll through our phones looking for the next dopamine hit, instead of engaging with the person sitting right next to us. We plan our next vacation while we're still on our current one. We're always somewhere else mentally, missing the richness of the present moment. Greed makes us poor in relationships. When we're focused on accumulating, we start seeing people as means to an end. We network instead of making friends. We calculate what others can do for us instead of simply enjoying their company. Relationships become transactional, and genuine human connection becomes rare. Greed makes us poor in gratitude. When you're always focused on what you don't have, you lose sight of what you do have. Your mind becomes trained to notice lack instead of abundance. You could have a loving family, good health, a roof over your head, and food on your table. But all you can think about is what your neighbor has that you don't. Greed makes us poor in peace. A greedy mind is a restless mind. It's always calculating, always planning, always worried about missing out. There's no rest because there's always more to want, more to get, more to protect. Sleep becomes difficult because your mind races with thoughts of opportunities and threats. But perhaps most tragically, greed makes us poor in ourselves. When your identity becomes tied to what you have rather than who you are, you lose touch with your authentic self. You start making decisions based on what will get you more rather than what aligns with your values. You become a stranger to yourself, wealthy in possessions but bankrupt in character. The ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus understood this deeply. He taught that happiness comes not from having more, but from wanting less. He distinguished between necessary desires, like food and shelter, and empty desires, like fame and luxury. The necessary desires can be satisfied, bringing genuine happiness. The empty desires are bottomless pits that can never be filled. This doesn't mean we should live in poverty or never want anything. It means understanding the difference between enough and too much, between healthy ambition and destructive greed. It means recognizing that the point of having money is to not have to worry about money, not to accumulate it endlessly. Consider the concept of enough. When is enough enough? Most people never answer this question, so they never know when they've won the game of life. They keep playing indefinitely, growing more tired and anxious with each round. But those who define enough for themselves can actually enjoy what they have instead of always chasing more. Warren Buffett, one of the world's wealthiest people, still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958. He's famous for saying that the rich invest in time, the poor invest in money. What he means is that, truly wealthy people understand that time is the ultimate currency, and they don't trade it lightly for more material possessions. The richest life is one where you have enough money to meet your needs and some wants, but not so much that managing money becomes your full-time job. It's where you have enough possessions to be comfortable, but not so many that maintaining them becomes a burden. It's where you have enough status to feel secure, but not so much that protecting your reputation becomes an obsession. So how do we break free from the poverty of greed? How do we become rich in the ways that truly matter? The first step is awareness. Start noticing your desires. When you want something, pause and ask yourself why. Is this a genuine need or an empty desire? Will having this truly improve your life, or are you just feeding the hungry ghost of wanting? Practice gratitude daily. Instead of starting your day thinking about what you want to achieve or acquire, start by acknowledging what you already have. This isn't just feel-good advice. Gratitude literally rewires your brain to notice abundance instead of scarcity. Learn to enjoy what you have before getting more. If you can't be happy with what you currently possess, you won't be happy with more either. Take time to truly appreciate your current home, your current car, your current clothes. Find the beauty and functionality in what already surrounds you. Set clear boundaries around your consumption. Decide in advance how much is enough in different areas of your life. How much money in savings would make you feel secure? How many clothes do you actually need? How big does your house need to be? Having these boundaries prevents endless expansion of desires. Invest in experiences and relationships rather than things. Research consistently shows that experiential purchases provide more lasting happiness than material ones. And relationships are the strongest predictor of life satisfaction. A meal with good friends will enrich your life more than eating alone in an expensive restaurant. Practice voluntary simplicity. This doesn't mean living like a monk, but it means being intentional about what you bring into your life. Before acquiring anything new, ask yourself if it will truly add value or just add clutter. Choose quality over quantity in everything from friendships to possessions. Cultivate inner richness. Read books that expand your mind. Learn skills that challenge you. Develop your character through difficult experiences. Build a rich inner world that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This is wealth that can never be taken from you. Find purpose beyond accumulation. When your life is meaning beyond getting more stuff, material possessions naturally take their proper place as tools rather than goals. Purpose gives you something to work toward that can actually be achieved, unlike the endless pursuit of more. Remember that true security comes not from having a lot, but from needing little. The person who requires very little to be happy is truly free. They're not dependent on market conditions, other people's approval, or external circumstances for their well-being. This is the ultimate wealth. The poverty that greed creates is subtle but devastating. It steals your time, corrupts your relationships, disturbs your peace, and alienates you from yourself. But recognizing this pattern is the first step to breaking free from it. True wealth isn't about having everything you want. It's about wanting what you have. It's about being rich in time, rich in relationships, rich in experiences, rich in gratitude, and rich in contentment. This kind of wealth is available to almost everyone, regardless of their financial situation. The next time you feel the pull of wanting more, remember the fisherman. Ask yourself what you're really seeking. Chances are, you might already have it. The path to a rich life isn't through getting more, but through appreciating what you already possess and focusing on what truly matters. In our culture of more, choosing enough is a radical act. It's choosing freedom over slavery, contentment over anxiety, presence over absence. It's choosing a rich life over a poor one, regardless of how much money is in your bank account. Thank you for watching today's video. If this message resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more content about living a meaningful life. And remember, the richest person isn't the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. Until next time, may you find wealth in simplicity and richness in gratitude.